Welcome back to the channel. What is going on with the Goings On with YSL? All hell broke loose yesterday. The defense went after every cop and detective. We're going to get straight into it. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe and turn on that notification bell so when I get the drop, you get the drop. And thank you for tuning in. Let's get it.
What are some of the ways that gang members increase their status within a gang?
Typically through violence and getting money through illicit means.
And when you say through violence, is shooting an act of violence?
Yes.
And specifically shooting at a cop, is that an act of violence?
Yes.
I have no further questions. All right.
Sergeant Johnson, are you suggesting by your testimony just now that Christian Eppinger, when he was about to be arrested by this officer, that he shot Officer Rogers to increase his status in the gang and to get money for the gang? Is that your testimony?
No.
Okay.
It's not either or it's not both. It could be either or. In this situation, I would say the violence is an increase in your status in the gang.
Or it could be just someone who was trying to get away from the police, right?
Yeah, could be.
Okay. While you were there and you saw this going on and you saw him trying to get away from Rogers and shooting at Rogers, you hear him shout out anything like, "Hey, this is for YSL"?
No.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because he didn't do that, did he?
Well, it's ridiculous. I don't think anybody would shoot a cop and then say, "This is for YSL." That's not how this works.
Right. And what is also ridiculous is you trying to determine that he was doing something that day to increase his status or to get money, right?
I'm not
Objection, argumentative,
sustained. Good morning, Agent Doherty. My name is Doug Weinstein. I'm the attorney for Diamante Kendrick. So I have a few questions. You were, as you testified, that you are the person that apprehended Mr. Arnold, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you tased Mr. Arnold in order to apprehend him, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you knee Mr. Arnold in the back?
I don't recall that.
Did you spit on him?
No.
Would that have been appropriate to do?
Sustained.
Would it have been appropriate if your partner kneed and spit on Mr. Kendrick after tasing him?
Sustained.
Now let's get to when the crap hit the fan. This detective, quote unquote, calls himself an expert, a gang expert and a lyrics expert from St. Louis. And he's speaking on Bloods and Crips. The Bloods and Crips were started in California. So the experts would be in California, not from St. Louis, who's copycats. But we're going to get straight into it. Give me your opinion, comment below. Let's get it.
I want to hone in specifically on your training, right? I heard you say that you've given a presentation about gangs, but I'm asking you about gangs and specifically rap music and rap lyrics as it relates to gangs. What is this presentation that you've given, and are there any literature? Is there literature or any material that you have that you can share with us that you've used in this presentation?
I don't have the presentation with me, but in the presentation, it's my own accumulation of entertainment, music, and presenting. I present to kids, I present to adults and other cops and educating them. In the gang unit, a lot of officers don't understand what's happening right before their eyes, and so for myself, I was tasked with educating not only our department but other departments when I worked for the ATF, them as well as students about this information.
What literature specifically have you used to educate either yourself or other investigators in regards to the relationship to rap and rap lyrics to gangs?
You mean, when you say literature, you mean like books, or are you talking about magazines?
I'm talking about books, I'm talking about learned treatises, I'm talking about studies, anything like
training
that.
materials.
None of it.
No.
Magazines, we might use any hip hop magazine or different examples that's in a magazine might be something that we are able to reference because of the wording or something and all that. When you reference books, I've read different gang books from other officers. I've read a book out of Compton. I think it's A Lonely Day in Compton or something, and it was written by gang detectives out of Compton because a lot of they were privy to a lot more information than we were in their own work over the years.
Right, and what specific information? Here's what I'm trying to get to, Detective. I'm really not trying to trick you or anything. But I want to know specifically, is there a book, is there a training manual that specifically deals with rap lyrics as it relates to gangs?
No.
Okay. You referenced before, I think you used the words, my own background is used to decipher this information. You talked about movies. So are we talking simply about you looking at the movie Menace to Society? Yes.
I'll say yes.
Right. Looking at the movie Boys in the Hood?
Yes.
And you're saying that is what you have used to form your expertise in regards to rap lyrics and the relationship between rap lyrics and gangs?
What I'm saying is, based on my own upbringing, growing up in a gang-infested environment, my own education, my own training, as well as watching these said movies is where I formulated my opinion.
Have there, other than what you yourself have experienced in your own personal life, right, have there been any, for example, instructors, professors, or anyone else who have taught you using material or lesson plan in regards to the relationship between rap lyrics and gang? No?
No.
All right. Those are all the questions I have.
Anything else? Correct.
Nothing from the station run.
All right. So, and then has a part of what you have done, how does that intersect with what you know about gangs? The music and the lyrics.
From listening, I'm a rap fan myself, and from listening to music and watching movies, videos, YouTube, I'm able to understand what is being said and what is being expressed. It's just like watching anything. I can understand it, and by me being a gang investigator, a regular person might listen and think it's art, and it may be art. But for myself, with my education and my background and investigating gangs for a number of years, I'm able to understand exactly the message that's being kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, that's being given. I can't even think of, but I understand when someone says, I caught somebody down bad. To you, you may look at that and say, oh, they caught somebody down bad. But for me, that means you caught somebody and you were able to hurt them, kill them, or what have you. So I'm able to decipher what is being said. A regular lay person does not understand that. They look at it as just art or a lyric in a song.
Okay. All right. Once again, I'm satisfied that based on his training and experience, he can testify as an expert as to maybe a double meaning within rap lyrics.
Your Honor.
And it's obviously ultimately going to be for the jury to determine whether they,
And
believe and accept as credible anything he or any other witness says. Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, that's my issue. I understand the court's ruling. I just asked you to consider what he has testified to. He has no specialized knowledge beyond the ken of any layperson. I understand his saying that what he grew up around. I grew up in Brooklyn too, and maybe there are members of the jury who have the same life experiences as him, but that's not what the purpose of.
I understand. I'm not basing it just on where he grew up. It's
Right.
his training and experience as a gang investigator.
But specifically in regard to the interpretation of rap and rap lyrics as it relates to gangs, he has not given the court any information whatsoever to indicate that he has any specialized knowledge that will qualify him as an expert, such that his opinion could go to the jury for them to look at him as an expert in that field. None whatsoever. And I've maintained my objection. I'd ask that he not be qualified in that particular area.
All right, I understand, and your objection is overruled. I mean, this just happens to be words that are set to a beat. It's no different. All right, let's get the jury in here.
What's that saying? A hard head make a soft behind? Yes, the judge got herself in the middle of all this chaos because she would not listen to the defense team, saying this guy was not an expert. Yes, he threw the trial by a statement saying one of the defense clients was in and out of jail, and you cannot say anything derogatory about anyone on trial. That is considered a 403. But yeah, we're going to continue.
Your Honor, this one you cannot fix. This is bad character evidence that came in. The state should have prepared their witness. I move for a mistrial. This absolutely cannot be unheard by the jury. It was heard clear as day in his deep, sonorous voice. They have heard it, they have absorbed it. It cannot be fixed. 404A, Your Honor.
Whatever response the state might be able to make on that.
Your Honor, that was not the state's intention.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Your Honor, that wasn't even, that response didn't even come across my mind that would even have come out of our witness's mouth, Your Honor. The state's intention was to solely talk about the vehicle that he was standing on and the fact that he was standing on that vehicle. If you can just give us an opportunity just to look at some case law just to see if you can.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. How many times has this man testified in a trial? How long has he been I know he's a retired investigator. How long has he been an investigator? He knows he is not supposed to say that, Your Honor.
I would find it surprising if he isn't aware that that's not supposed to come out. I do not believe that the state intended to elicit that, and I think that you actually yourself acknowledged up here at the bench that you don't believe that was the state's intention.
I do not believe it was their intention.
Nonetheless, it happened. I'm going to give y'all about 15 minutes or so to find whatever you might be able to find.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Now let's listen to the judge and her ruling and see if she can wiggle her way out of this. Let's continue.
I am finding that this was not intentionally elicited on the part of the state. However, I also am finding that this witness as a law enforcement officer should have known better than to make any mention of it. It is, however, significant that one of the charges against Mr. Kendrick in this indictment is that he is a convicted felon. Were it not for that, I would grant the mistrial motion. But given that the jury already knows that he's been convicted and is a convicted felon anyway, even without this testimony, I don't think that a mistrial is warranted. I am, however, going to give a curative instruction and as a sanction for this having occurred, that's the end of the testimony from this witness. There's going to be no more testimony from him. So he's done. All right. What I am proposing to say as an instruction is Defendant Kendrick's prior criminal history has no relevance to this case except as to count 63 and should not have been mentioned. Further, this witness, as a former law enforcement officer, should have known better than to make any mention of it. Likewise, Mr. Kendrick's criminal history should not be considered in connection with any of these other defendants or any of the charges against them in this case.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I would also then, because we didn't have the opportunity to cross-examine, so it would be a confrontation, it would be reversible error. So I'm moving.
Let me ask you this. Have y'all cross-examined him the 2 times before? All right, so we're going to strike everything he said today.
And the notes, just like you did before, all the notes, they have to go back, give them to the court if you don't mind. put them under seal, or that's what I remember you doing, but whatever you did with them. And if they can't follow that instruction, please alert me, or if you don't mind.
You're right. Can we just ask that we can just stop our testimony, give them an opportunity to cross-examine him?
No, I guess you can ask, and the answer is no.
But I don't.
The answer is no. You can make a record.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I don't believe that he and my question was broad.
It's not your fault.
And I understand that, but Your Honor, the testimony that was given today, this was a one-time infraction, Your Honor. And we would just ask, we can understand that if his testimony, if the state no longer can question him, we would ask that all of his testimony from today is not stricken because of one mistake. Like, this was one mistake that he made, Your Honor. We would stop our questioning of him, allow the defense to cross him on what has come out now, but all of the information that he's provided thus far, he has been careful. He has not said anything today that was even remotely close to what happened here right now. I believe it was a mistake on his part. Maybe as a state, I should have instructed clearer, and I will take that responsibility, Your Honor. But given that this was one moment in time, the state is going to ask that we will stop questioning. If that's the sanction that the state has to stop questioning him, Your Honor, we will take that sanction and ask that the defense be allowed to cross him, and that we be not allowed to direct him, and that's fine, but not that his entire testimony from today be struck, Your Honor, given that that was one mistake that he made very short in time.
All right, understood.
Do I need to respond to that, Your Honor?
You don't need to.
Thank you.
Yes.
I did not mention it, but also all the exhibits admitted through this gentleman need to be taken back under seal as well and disregarded by the jury, please.
Do you have another witness available?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, go ahead and get them lined up.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I have one question. Is retired investigator Dennis going to return to the stand at some point? I'm not sure if the state had planned on that or not, or if your sanction would bar that as well.
Oh, no, he won't be returning.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted that clarified.
Unless you'd like for me to have him come back and admonish him. But I'm not going to do it in front of the jury, because I don't think we need to highlight it further. Okay. I kind of would like to tell him he should have known better, though. Y'all can just relay that. Okay.
Excuse me, Your Honor, and I'd like to renew my motion for mistrial prior to the next question.
All right. It is denied.